It's just combo decks, and more combo decks.
This is Legacy. This is what we're talking about right here. None of this Delver nonsense.
What is
People are
the
trying to kill
converted
each
mana
other
cost of
fast.
this deck? He's got he's got Omniscience. He's got Enter the Infinite. On the low side of it, he's got Emrakul the Aeon's Torn.
There's a couple of Jaces thrown here for funsies, too.
Sure.
Dream Halls cost 5. Force will cost 5. Look, the converted mana cost a little high, but I can dig it.
A little chubby.
A touch. Ian gonna play in Island to start things off here. Henry Freedman on the draw with the Storm deck. We haven't, Star's done okay in the Open Series this year. It hasn't been anything great. Brian Cook has just done okay, one of the better Storm players. Eric Rill switched back to playing Delver, so Storm isn't the powerhouse in Legacy maybe as much as I thought it was. Here's a Ponder to start things off for Brown. Both these players sitting at 4-1, so a loss for either one of them will likely knock them out of top 8 contention.
It's always tricky figuring out what percentage of the games in Legacy are spent resolving library manipulation.
90%. I've done the math.
Henry draws a card for the turn. Volcanic Island. Volcanic Island for Preordain.
Library manipulation.
I love it, dude. Dude, I just love grinding out the minimal edges.
I just like attacking.
You know what would be great is if Thawing Glaciers was just legal in Legacy.
I imagine it is legal. I think it is. Why don't you get to work on that deck?
Dude, what? What? Somebody's got to tell Feline. Thawing Glacier and High Tide, man.
Oh my.
That's where it's at. That's what's real.
Let's not forget you get to shuffle when you have top in your deck.
Yeah. Yeah, and you just untap your Thawing Glacier with like Turnabout or Frantic Search or Time Spiral.
That's just it. That's definitely game. I don't know who's beating that. Thawing Glacier doesn't tap for mana, right?
No.
Okay.
No. In fact, it costs mana to operate.
Mm-hmm. And that was like the end-all, be-all card for a while. It was really good.
In some contexts.
Yeah. I can't imagine. Thawing Glaciers has to be more painful than top.
It's not. Thawing Glacier has, no. Not to just be contrarian, but Thawing Glacier at least has the decency to only be activated every other turn. Okay. And you know what you're going for. The amount of time it takes you to search through your deck, get a land, shuffle, you get into a rhythm where you're just doing the same thing every turn.
Okay.
Top, when you get into a rhythm, it's like, it's just because your rhythm is that you're like asleep, because your opponent's like because every top is different. And sometimes you're supposed to top several times in the same turn just so they don't know. Seriously.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Like when you got a counterbalance in play and you're juggling a Croson Grip, you're like, okay, I'm gonna upkeep top. Okay, top again.
Yep. Play the game.
Okay, top again.
Yep.
Okay, draw a card.
Yep. I'm ready to draw now. And counting your 3. Friedman is what we like to call in the tank right now, because I think someone has a turn 2 kill and someone does not want to play the turn 2 kill. Just gonna pass Will Henry over to Brown. Brown's got Force of Will in hand. You see some blue cards over there. There's the City of Traders. This is 4 mana and a Jace. There are a lot. You know what? There are a lot of Jaces here this particular weekend. I don't know if it's because you're in Portland, but
no, the Jace the Mind Sculptor is a very strong card.
This is an abnormally high number of Jaces we have seen this weekend.
I challenge you to name 3 stronger cards that are legal in this format.
Brainstorm.
That's 1, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's 1, maybe.
Force of Will.
That's a real dubious one. But let's just for the sake of argument count it. But it's real freaking dubious.
Do we want to count those as halves?
No.
Okay.
No, I think that you just can't count either one.
Island?
No, not even close.
How do you cast Jace without Island?
I don't know, Volcanic Island?
That's an island.
No. All right.
That is an island.
You could ban every single island and Jace would still be busted. Are you kidding? Just tap your Teleria West.
I have no rebuttal.
See,
There's nothing I can say.
No,
okay, hold on then. Teleria West.
What about Teleria West?
We have a new format now,
No.
So here's a Force of Will and a Dark Ritual.
All right.
Gonna remove a personal tutor.
What I'm saying is that all these people talk about how good Force of Will and Brainstorm are. No. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're both broken. But in Standard, when those cards were legal, Brainstorm was not busted the same way that Jace the Mind Sculptor is. Brainstorm just happens to benefit from the design path that the WotC's gone down, where there's just tons of free shuffling and powered formats being highly revolving around assembling certain combinations of cards, and the fact that that the cheaper the spell is, the better it ages in terms of powered formats. Brainstorm is not anywhere close to as powerful as Jace the Mind Sculptor in terms of raw power.
This is a preordained, and we know that one's not better. I can't even argue with you on that one.
Dude, Preordain is better than Brainstorm in a lot of formats. Preordain is disgusting. Unfortunately, they're just not legal in the same format of any formats where that's true.
No.
But if you just threw them in, you know.
So Ian immediately put those 2 cards to the bottom, basically using that to just clear. He passed the turn back to Freedman. Freedman drew. Looks like he's passing the turn back over to Brown, as Henry just has 1 land right now. His attempt to go off was thwarted by a force of will on the Dark Ritual, and now here's another copy of Preordained from Brown. So gonna scry 2, decide what he wants to do with these. Top and bottom. See Ian Brown, a Red Hot Chili Peppers fan.
Yeah.
Yourself?
No, they're fine. I don't know. It's been a little while since they put out anything new, but I really dug some of their tracks.
Did you know when they started?
Do I know when they started?
Mm-hmm. First CD was released.
If I were guessing, 1989?
84.
84, okay.
They've been around a long time.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, assuming that you consider them still around.
Yeah, I'd say they're still around.
They played the Super Bowl. That counts as around.
Super Sage is going to be discarded to the discard cleanup phase there for Brown. So 7 cards. There's a Force of Will among them and a whole bunch of blue cards. Here's a Lion's Eye Diamond.
You know who else came out in 84? Might have even been 83, but I think it was 84.
Who?
9 Inch Nails, Trent Reznor.
That long ago?
Yeah, he's been around a long time too, huh?
Wow, I actually didn't know that. Here's a Brainstorm.
Maybe it was 85.
See, enter the Infinite, Dream Halls, and an Island. It might be go time. It very well may be go time. 2 cards out there. Here's some mana. 3 of it. There is Show and Tell. Yeah, we are making our move as Ian Brown.
Shove.
And this is a Storm deck. Of course, there will be no counter spells to be worried about here, but Freedman has a whole bunch of black cards in hand. No black mana, so Show and Tell is going to allow Brown to put something in play. He's ready. There's Dream Halls.
Yeah, this particular Storm deck, 0 pieces of interaction beyond just having access, just 4 duresses.
It's time to enter the Infinites. So the whole deck to the grip. 1 card will have to go back.
Dream Halls lets him pitch blue cards to cast blue cards for free. So pitching a Preordain has allowed him to cast a Enter the Infinite for free. Enter the Infinite lets him draw every single card in his deck, and then he gets to put 1 back so that he could theoretically take another turn next turn if he needed it. The main thing he's going to do is he's going to use Dream Halls to cast Omniscience. Omniscience is a lot like Dream Halls, but instead of having to pitch blue cards to cast things for free, you instead just cast things for free. And once you have the ability to cast things for free, you can use a wish and wish for a kill card. In this case, his kill card of choice, Release the Ants.
Let's clash. Let's clash. I'll show you Enter the Infinite a bunch, and you will die.
Yeah, by putting the 1 card he put back was Enter the Infinite to ensure that he would win all clashes, and then he just releases the Ants until Henry cannot take it anymore.
Ian Brown going to win game number 1 here over Henry Freedman. Omnitel up a game over Ad Nauseam Tendrils as we take a look at the sideboards here. Freedman is where we will begin, and you do have the Storm sideboard in front of you.
By the way, just to give some information, not everybody is familiar with Release the Ants.
Yeah.
It does a damage, but you get it back if you win the clash.
Yeah, if you win the clash, it comes back to the
which you
hand.
always do with Enter the Infinite.
Well, we hope so.
So in the sideboard for Freedman's deck, we have 2 Chain of Vapor, 2 Surgical Extraction, 2 Dark Confidant, 2, speaking of invitational cards, 2 Abrupt Decay, 1 Grim Tutor, 1 Cabal Therapy, 1 Caracas, 1 Slaughter Pact, 1 Carpet of Flowers, 1 Massacre, and 1 Swan Song. He's going to be looking for some of his anti-combo measures, like Swan Song, giving him an anti-spell type of thing, Cabal Therapy, nice piece of disruption. Dark Confidant is not the worst versus some combo decks, being able to draw a few extra cards. But for the most part, he doesn't really have a lot of options. He's mostly just set up to goldfish. He's not built to try to play any other way.
Other side of things here, Ian Brown's playing Cunning Wish deck, so you're going to find a lot of one-ofs. We'll take a look at the non-one-ofs really quickly. 4 Leona Sanctity and then 2 copies of Defense Grid. Defense Grid, great, of course, against counter spells, interaction that takes place on your turn. Leona Sanctity, great against a discard, but actually those things don't really matter very much here. Yes, Freedman does have some access to discard spells, but I don't think we're going to see Brown sideboard that in. As far as the Wish sideboard goes, there's a Snap, a Pact of Negation, a Mindbreak Trap, an Intuition, a Wipe Away, the Release the Ants that we saw, along with a Quicken, a Slaughter Pact, a Ravenous Trap. So I actually don't expect to see Ian Brown sideboard anything here. I'm not sure if the matchup is great for him. It does seem like it's relatively close, but I don't expect to see him change his deck too much. This could just be a goldfishing battle.
So what do you think about Leyline of Sanctity as I guess, an option against Storm?
Yeah, I don't think it's very good. There's some discard, but not a lot, and you're not going to mulligan towards that card, so I wouldn't want it in my deck.
Well, the best part being able to stop Tendrils of Agony, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I think that when Storm is going off, like, you can't stop them. They're just going to kill you. And I don't think that, like, if I put a Leyline in play and my Storm opponent says, all right, I'm going to cast Ad Nauseam and attempt to kill you, I don't think that Leyline Sanctity is going to stop them, would be my argument. And I'd rather just have, like, a pretty steady streamlined deck. I wouldn't want to change too much. Like, I'm not gonna mulligan for Leyline against Storm because I don't think it's going to win me the game. And, like, I can't cast it. So I would rather just kind of be straight and narrow, keep my deck as streamlined as possible, and just try to combo them out early. That would be my plan of the match if I'm Ian Brown.
I don't know. Definitely seems reasonable. I'm not super familiar with the matchup, but with tons of 1-mana discard spells and a Tendrils of Agony kill, I think he might just be playing it, figuring that he needs some kind of fast interaction against a turn 1, turn 2 kill deck like this.
That's possible.
But I don't know. I think, we'll find out. Whatever he does, I'm sure that it's just a question of, if he's play tested the match. He'll know whether or not he wants it here. I'm just not sure who you board Leyline of Sanctity in against if you don't want it for this matchup.
I've seen players boarding against Jund.
Okay.
Jund having Thoughtseize in him. Of course, it doesn't stop Liliana's discard because it's symmetrical, but I've seen it come in there. Yeah, I've seen it come in there. I know that Josh Ravitz played this deck for a while, and he basically said, I don't really, like, he tried Leyline of Sanctity to start with, and he just said, I don't really like it. I'm not going to mulligan for it a lot against the discard decks. If I happen to have it in my opening hand, I'll, of course, put it into play, but it doesn't automatically win me the game.
Yeah, we definitely hope you put it into play. If you put it in your deck, you got to be willing to put it into play.
I hope so. You know Josh, he can be a little frugal.
Yeah,
so. Ian Brown going to lay out his 7 cards. Henry has kept his 7, very focused, ready to do battle here. And it looks like Ian's going to mulligan very, very quickly. So,
looking for that ley line.
Maybe. There's a real shot of it. I don't love it in the matchup, but it doesn't mean that he didn't sideboard it in. And if that's his plan, execute your game plan. Try to find it.
Yeah, if he actually manages to stick a ley line of Sanctity, Freedman's only answers are the 2 Chain of Vapors if he happened to bring them in. If he can't find a Chain of Vapor, he cannot win. And obviously, if Ian sticks 3 Leona Sanctities, that's game, boys. Now, there is the alternative. There is the backup plan, which is Dark Confidant Beatdown and Swan Song your own spell for the 2/2 flying beats.
Ah, yes. And what a fitting end it would be.
Yeah.
I would genuinely love that to be the end result. One could only hope to be so lucky as Ian Brown is going to mulligan down to 6 here and take a look at 6 cards.
I do think it's possible that Freedman brings in Carpet of Flowers. I mean, he wants to be fast, but it is kind of nice that Carpet of Flowers is so good against.
Boom.
Oh, so yeah, now Henry just can't win because Leona Sanctity is completely unbeatable.
Come on.
The entire reason, yes.
Easy.
No, Leyline Sanctity is going to make this game a real challenge for Henry.
It makes it harder.
Now he no longer has Duress or Cabal Therapy to try to clear the way. He can't cycle his Gataxian Probes, and he can't actually win unless he finds a Chain of Vapor to bounce the Leyline Sanctity because he can't target his opponent with a Tendrils of Agony.
All we got to do is find that chain. Chain. Gonna shuffle the Ponder.
It's interesting. Did Ian keep a playable hand, or is he just so all in on Leyline of Sanctity? Because I could imagine. Oh, he does have a mana.
And a preordain.
Oh, so everything's just swimming at the moment.
He does have preordain in his hand. Another preordain too. Jeez, it's a pretty good mulligan. One card going to go on top. One card going to go on the bottom. Going to add that card to the hand. Resolve the preordain. Pass the turn back over to Freedman. That is a brainstorm. So Henry's going to go a little bit deeper here.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Setting up ad nauseum is going to be the big key to Freedman here.
Yeah, I think that's the way that he has to win the game now. Like, he doesn't have Empty the Warrens, I assume.
No, he doesn't really have any other plans. He's going to have to just. I mean, he has access to Infernal Tutor. He might have sideboarded in Grim Tutor, so he's got a lot of ways to find his one ad nauseum. And he does have one Past in Flames in case he has to sort of half go off and then go off again just for library manipulation.
Sure.
But he needs to assemble the combination of Chain of Vapor and a Critical Mass. Most likely that Critical Mass will be fueled by ad nauseum, which is probably the single best way for him to find a Chain of Vapor and actually, have enough tools to win. But, I mean, this is far from over just because literally a single ad nauseum could draw him 15 or more cards and give him all the tools he needs to get out of this.
He might just be moving in right now. 2 Lion's Eye Diamond, a Lotus Petal. Here's a Volcanic Island.
The thing that's really nice about Leyline is just the fact that it stops Henry's ability to force things through.
Yeah, this is a Force of Will.
Right.
On the Infernal Tutor. So Freedman made his move, and it was thwarted.
Yeah, there's not really a ton he can do because he doesn't have any hope of being able to take counter spells except by casting threats. I do wonder, though, if you're supposed to sack both Lion's Eye Diamonds there. Maybe you can get away with sacking one and kind of hedge, just figuring, but I don't know.
Looks like both players are going to play a little draw go right now. I mean, for Freedman, he has to rebuild a hand. Now, here's a Ponder for Brown off the top. He's looking for a show and tell to put an Omniscience or a Dream Pulse into play. Looking to sculpt up that perfect hand to win the game all in one turn. It looks like Ponder is going to force a shuffle here. Yeah, I was thinking for a moment that maybe that play was a little hasty there from Freedman, but I think it also makes sense. Like, there's no sense in waiting because if I draw discard or probes, they don't do anything.
Yep.
So I go for it, and if I have it, well, he likely just wins the game. Assuming ad nauseum cooperates, like nothing horrible happens.
Yeah, I think it's going to be real hard. I mean, Legacy is a format full of hate cards that are so backbreakingly powerful that very often on the first turn your opponent is relegated to a completely submissive position where all they can really do is try to find one of the couple answers in their deck to this unbelievable hate card.
Probe targeted Henry, by the way. It does say target player. So
I like that.
He can and will cantrip.
Yeah, but he can't know when he's trying to set up what his opponent's working with.
Yeah.
Without, normally, I mean, he's playing a very look at your hand centric strategy.
Yep. Ian Brown going to take a draw here. There's an island. You see some Cunning Wish in the hand. Brown looks to be a couple pieces away. Well, getting much closer now. It's time to Intuition.
One of my favorite uses of Leyline of Sanctity is that it stops gifts ungiven. You know that? If your opponent has a Leyline of Sanctity in play, you can't target them with a gifts ungiven to split the piles.
You don't think I've Gilded Lighted gifts ungiven? Is that what you think, Patrick?
I believe that you have. I'm just talking about Leyline of Sanctity. I think you know. You've been doing it since way back. Gilded Light is so hot too, by the way.
Gabe Walsh tricked me into doing that.
Yeah?
Playing Astral Slide, Gilded Lighted gifts ungiven, and extended.
Why is that bad?
I didn't say it was bad. He just kind of tricked me into playing a bad deck and bad cards. That's all.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Mike Long tricked me into playing some atrocious Guy's Cradle green deck at the Invitational.
Why would you ever do that?
What
kind of green cards do you have?
He's a good salesman.
Do you have Cradle Guard?
Albino Troll, Elvish Lyrist.
Possibly Jaguar?
Yeah, all that stuff.
I loved that deck when I was young. I kind of like this deck now that I'm old. As a Dream Halls is going to allow a Enter the Infinite. All the cards are coming. It's going to be a repeat performance here for Ian Brown.
Yeah, Storm is real vulnerable to Force of Will.
I didn't think Leyline would be great in this matchup, but it looks like I was incorrect. As now Ian Brown is going to have all the cards in his hand but one, and much like the last game, likely going to cast an Omniscience, maybe Cunning Wish for the old, release the ants, and finish this bad boy off. There's a Brainstorm that gets removed. There's Omniscience to make it easy. And Freedman's going to have to sit through the ants being released one more time as there is the Cunning Wish.
Yep.
There's the ants. And I suppose we can clash a couple times if you'd like. There's Duress and Friends, and he's going to extend the hand. Ian Brown going to win this match over Henry Freedman, 2-0. Relatively easy fashion there for Ian. And Omnitel moves on to 5-1. Ad nauseum picking up a second loss.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a couple more rounds to go to try to cement that top 8. But